So there's this riff, and there's a little more to it than we all thought. Of course, it's Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. The 1975 self-titled album marked the moment Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham joined the band. Rolling Stones ranked Rhiannon among their 500 greatest songs of all time, but that deceptively simple riff is not as simple as you and I might think. And so much so that I've realized I've been playing it wrong my whole life. There's three things going on that make this song go from kind of basic to absolutely magical. So let's get in. First, the melody. So the hook of this riff, what you would sing, right, is that super simple melody that just follows the A minor scale. It starts on C and it goes up. And the melody is played over two basic chords, the A minor and F major. But I hope we can all hear there is something missing here, right? Because the melody is doubled with a harmony below that original line. So it also follows the A minor scale, but this one doesn't start on C, it starts on A. So they are a third apart, and together they sound like this. So really thickening up that line, creating a broader sound. But at the same time, it creates a lot of tension over those super simple chords, and it resolves in a very beautiful way. Tension. That's nice, right? But every guitarist knows, everyone, this is not the riff. No. This was child's play to what's coming now, because in order to play this riff, we also have to play the bass notes at the same time as we're plucking that little melody. Now, for fingerpicking master Lindsey Buckingham, who wrote this riff and who we've been talking about many times before on this channel, this is probably a piece of cake, but for us ordinary folks, it can be quite a challenge. So this is how I always played it. Just a simple quarter note pattern in the bass. Bum, 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 bum. And how I've seen many people play it, but it's wrong. Yes, have a listen to what the bass is actually doing. Did you hear it? A little faster. Boom, 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 boom. So that bass line is playing a pattern. Dun, 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 dun. All while that finger-picked harmony is continuing. And that, well, I can say it is quite hard to do. And then the next shot would be me playing it, making it look like I'm an incredible guitar player. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So, but what really helped me in learning this is to make it visual. So I actually wrote down the riff and wrote down the bass line underneath it, so I could see where the bass notes and the melody would be played together or not played together. And this really helped me in learning this. So what you get is two totally independent, distinct musical lines. One steady, driving bass played staccato, interwoven with a syncopated line functioning as a melody. All played at the same time, by the same hand, creating a deceptively complex fingerpicking pattern. So really start out slowly, and then it'll fall into place, and you will drastically increase your thumb and finger independence. It's a really great feeling when you do get this down. And it's absolutely key that you mute the bass notes and hit it as spongy as you can. See, I'm muting the A string and the low E string with the palm of my hand, so. And then to create more contrast between the two parts, the bass notes are played quite staccato and dead, but the melody, you can put vibrato to it, right? that's a bit exaggerated, but I hope you get what I mean. And what I did to get even closer to the original is to use a pick for the bass notes and pluck the melody with my fingers to create an even bigger oomph. Alright, so this is pretty close to the original, right? But we're not there yet. There is a secret ingredient. But before we get there, if you want to understand music in a way like we're looking at this riff and learn all the chords you'll ever need, from learning solos to the right scales and how to actually use them in a musical way, I really think my online guitar course Next Level Playing will be a great fit. It's the perfect roadmap that will give you a very solid understanding of chords, triads, scales and solos, and how everything is connected and work together. You will get so much more freedom on the neck, so it's really nice. Check it out, join the course at nextlevelplaying.com. I'd love to see you there. So as far as this riff goes, you can see that through the years that Lindsay himself changes up the bass pattern to suit whatever works for him at that moment. So there's definitely some freedom regarding the exact bass pattern. But here in this video, I'd like to get close to the original recording from 1975. Speaking of, I found one way to get even closer that I'll show you at the end of this video, because it's not for everyone. So let's move on, because that one secret ingredient. Let me play it and see if you can hear it. Did you hear it? One more time. So after the first round, the intro, right where the drums, the keys and the bass join in, there's a third harmony playing on top. It starts on an E. One more time. It is quite loud actually, and it sounds sweet. So now what we get is we get a moving triad over those A minor and F chords. It's 3 notes creating a triad. So you get A minor, a diminished chord to C, B diminished, back to A minor, and then G and A minor again. All over that one A minor chord. That's pretty sick, right? On F we just get F, G and A minor. And I tried playing this with the bass line underneath. And then I had to tune my low E string to F. And then I could play it. It's really fun, actually, but we can all hear that that note is just an overdub. It's played later. It's a single line that he just recorded over that original part, but it is really fun to try it out. Oh, another clue is that Lindsay doesn't play that line live anyway. So we don't have to play it either, right? And funnily, when Stevie Nicks, who wrote this song, plays the song live without Lindsey Buckingham, she needs 2 guitarists playing the same song. So definitely no shade on these guitar players. I'm sure they could play this on one guitar as well. It's just a different stylistic choice, right? Anyway, we are not there yet, because this is just a guitar, and although the guitar has a bass line within the guitar part itself, there is an actual bass guitar in the song as well. And what it's playing is just, it's really wild. Listen to this. Like, how much is going on in the song? You get that tritone, that sharp 4, which is also in that F chord a lot. There's a lot of Lydian energy in this song. Then to F, And it's such a, like, it's a busy bass line, and it works surprisingly well if you pair it with a guitar. So before we go there, I was thinking, why did the bass player choose that sharp 4 interval going from the A minor to the F chord? It's so uncommon. And then last night I was lying in bed, I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking, now I know. Do you remember that guitar bass line? It jumps via the E to the F chord. And exactly when the guitar is playing that E note, the bass player is playing that B note, jumping from the A minor to the F chord. And of course, an E and a B is the best chord of all time. It's a power chord. So they use a power chord to jump from A minor to F. And I think that is why the bass player is playing that note over there. Have a listen to how it sounds. It's pretty cool. Guitar and bass together. It's amazing to hear how each roll of the instruments fill the sonic spectrum in the song, because there's also the keys. Listen to this. Ooh, that bellsy Fender Rhodes sound. It's really dreamy, adding all these lovely extensions. It's floating in between of that punchy bass and that rigid guitar line. It sounds super nice, and if you combine all of that, you get something, well, that is just beautiful. What a beautiful song. Just a timeless classic that every guitarist should study. So, as far as getting closer to the record, by the way, I had one more trick up my sleeve. Let me... So this is my Bacci baritone. And it sounds very pretty. And it has 2 outputs. One is just all the strings, and one is just for the bass. If I put a capo on fret 5, so what I can do is put some nice vibrato or chorus on the top, all while the bass notes are running through a bass amp or giving it some more punch. So together you can get this. And that is pretty cool, right? I love this. I love this thing. Anyway, Mr. Buckingham, I know you've been doing some things on YouTube, so if you're watching this, you know where to find me. I think we could make a fun video, maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments what other songs you would like me to dissect like this and to have a closer look at, because I just love looking at these classic songs and showing you all about it. Have a lovely day. See you next time.